dismissed every accomplishment I've made. You've talked about my father. Well, you call me an entitled millennial, I call you a carny succubus, because the dirty secret about you, the dirty secret is you need this generation more than it needs you.
Good morning, or good afternoon, whatever. So, welcome to the New World Podcast, yo. That show where the big KMB talks about wrestling. And I know I'm a little late. I get it. Holidays. I hope you can understand. I got me a drink. Got that C4 Ultimate Energy Berry Power Bomb Zero Sugar. Then, now, forever together, WWE style. And we're going to talk some wrestling here, folks. Let me grab my notes. I'm almost at the end of Volume 6. That's insane. I probably would have been done with Volume 6 if I'd been doing it the old school way, or the way I've been doing the New World Podcast, which might be a thing starting January, because I'm getting kind of tired of being left behind in the dirt, in the dust. You know, there's so many pro wrestling podcasts out there. I hope I stand out from a few. But I understand. Like, wrestling's hot right now. Why not talk about pro wrestling? And, this show is fun for me just because I like talking pro wrestling. And the fact that I can talk with my wife makes it better. Well, we're going to talk about Impact. Really nothing to talk about. It's just a really best of show. But that aired December 19th, 2024. But a bunch of good matches. I recommend to check it out. It's something to put on while you're wrapping gifts or anything like that. Or if you're getting ready for New Year's, just throw on a show. But SmackDown, December 20th, 2024. Cole and Graves on commentary. The Bloodline starts the show. I got asked the other day, do you feel like Solo should beat Roman for the Ula Fala on Netflix, January 6th? Because if Roman beats Solo, that's it. We're done. You cannot do anything else with Solo. Make him this menacing threat. There's nothing you can do. So I was just like, man, I think hints are showing, because Drew McIntyre comes out, tells him, hey, I'm going after the Bloodline. You are one of the people that made me lose my opportunity at Clash at the Castle in front of my family to not win that championship. I still have beef with you, but if you take out the Bloodline as well and we work together, we'll come back around and we'll check in with each other and we can finish business. And I was like, okay. So does that mean Drew's going to help Solo beat Roman for the Ula Fala? Because if Roman gets beat, it doesn't really hurt him. He's still Roman Reigns. And you have more heat on Solo because he cannot win by himself. And Drew McIntyre helping Solo win the Ula Fala, even bigger. Then I think you have a lot of cool stories you could tell with Roman and his downfall, and him and Drew building to a match, possibly at the Royal Rumble, So there's a lot that can go on there, but we had the Bloodline versus Andrade, LA Knight and Apollo. That was one of our first matches. But before we got out of here, Jimmy attacked Drew. Broken toe or not, Jimmy's not playing. No playing. He's beating up Drew. But our first match tonight, Bloodline, Andrade versus LA versus Apollo. Bloodline for the win. I'm like, okay, keep him going. But man, I'm just like, what are we doing with LA? We kind of, now he's with Andrade and Apollo. No offense to Andrade. I'm wondering when we're going to pull triggers on these folks. And Apollo, I don't see them doing anything with Apollo. So, and of course, here comes Shinsuke Nakamura, getting in LA's business, our United States champion. Then we get Byron with the Motor City Machine Guns. They got a big match tonight. Well, one of them does with Johnny Gargano, talking about, we've been friends for so long and this and that, we don't know who this guy is. Byron's from the Chelsea and Piper from Saturday Night Main Event. Chelsea, our new United States champion, red, white, and green. Say it with me, folks. Red, white, and green. Cody and Kevin Owens package. Cody taking that devastating, devastating pile driver, and people making memes of how he looks. It's great. Him on the toilet. I was like, okay, man, that's... God, I love the internet. We got a Kevin Owens promo. He has that Winged Eagle Championship. And he claims he is the champion. And he's been defending that title on the Holiday Tour, which is fantastic. But Kevin says, yeah, I did it. And I'm still champ. I'm your real champ. Cody. So, a lot of things are happening to build to this January 6th Netflix show. And I think that's when Cody will actually come back. DIY. Backstage, hyping each other up. And Johnny tells him, like, hey, I will handle this on my own. But, they're heels now. No, they won't. The Grayson Waller effect with Braun Strowman. Boring. Goes to Mello versus Braun. Ends in a count out, which I thought was kind of funny. That's how Carmelo gets the win. And Braun's like, oh. He chases Mello throughout the building afterwards. But Mello got a win over Braun. I guess it counts. It's just as silly as when, what was it, Roman versus Big Show? No, Roman versus Cody. That TLC match where Big Show put his foot through the table. And they're like, yeah, Cody won. Kind of reminded me of that. Nia and Candice. Tiffy backstage. They tell Tiffy, like, hey, you can go. We don't need you tonight. We don't need you. Candice got my back. And Tiffy's like, oh. What? We keep teasing. It's got to happen eventually, right? It's got to happen eventually. Then Mellows with LDF backstage and Braun. They're pretty deadly. Then he attacks. And Braun's like, I'm a monster. Then we get Alex, Shelley versus Johnny Gargano. This was fun. But, of course, here comes Ciampa. Here comes Chris. And it's just like these guys are ready to fight. And let's see, who else came out? I can't read my notes. I cannot read my notes. I don't know who else came out. Oh, wait, no. Nobody else came out. My bad. That was a little smooch. So Ciampa and Chris come out. Johnny Gargano for the win. Raw on Netflix kickoff promo. A lot of stuff happened at this package, I mean. Then we get Byron, Bianca, and Naomi. Women's Tag Team Championships next. Bianca and Naomi versus Nia and Candice. This is the main event. Tiffy comes out at some certain point, so I was like, oh. And Nia Jax got a nasty boo-boo. On her head. Got busted open, but of course they try not to show it. TV's still PG. But on Netflix Raw, they're like, yeah, let's show that blood. But Bianca and Naomi get the win over Nia and Candice. And I was kind of like, I was hoping Nia and Candice got the win. And Tiffy, I don't know. This was one of those, like, okay SmackDowns. This was like a 3 out of 5 SmackDown match of the night. I would say Alex Shelley versus Johnny Gargano. We're building a story there, I don't know. I was just like, okay. I think this next couple weeks, because when I get to Raw, it felt the same way. It's kind of like, let's get through these next 2 weeks. Then starting January 6th, moving forward to the Royal Rumble, because it is Royal Rumble season. And we got another Saturday night main event. Let's start cooking. But now, here's some shows. Have some fun. Some of this is going to be pre-taped, like how Monday Night Raw was. But yeah, 3 out of 5 for SmackDown, December 20th, 2024. Cole and Graves, and my match of the night was Alex versus Johnny. Now we have Rampage, December 20th, 2024. It was okay. Mark and Hobbs versus Don Callis family. Don Callis family promo before. Don Callis family for the win. Yeah. And this upcoming Friday is the last Rampage going forward. Thank God. It's just a throwaway show sometimes. Sometimes it's a banger. Sometimes it's just more or less like, okay. Renee's with Willow. Chris, they have history, so Willow has a big match tonight against Harley. Then we get Leo and Action versus Squash Gang. Leo and Action get the win. But here comes Private Party. Here comes Top Flight. They all got this heat. And then, just like they're all pissed at each other for some odd reason. Renee's with Harley. I love Harley. Then we get Willow and Harley. Willow gets the win. But, of course, they start attacking Willow after the win. Then here comes Chris. Yeah, so then we go to our main event, which is a gold standard match for the Continental Classic. Brody versus Commander. Brody for the win. I did not see Commander even getting anything. But they had Darby beat Brody. So I was like, But one more Rampage after this, and I'm going to say good riddance. Because this was okay. Match of the night. Willow and Harley, I guess. So 2 out of 5 for Rampage. December 20th, 2024. The Tony, Nigel. No, it's not Nigel. Tony, Excalibur, and Daddy Magic, I believe, were on commentary. I don't know. I was really not. I was like, meh. Then we have, what do you call it? World's End coming up next. So let's talk about Collision. Christmas Collision. December 21st, 2024. When Gold League, Will versus Ricochet. I gotta say, man, the toilet paper coming to the ring for Ricochet, this has to tell you a lot. Yes, I know where they're at. I know the venue. Yes, I understand. I know the history of this venue. And they were trying to play it off with that. Whoa, you got to understand. We're here in this great and magical place, the ballroom. Blah blah blah. And it's just like, no. I think this is a genuine message to Ricochet, especially this run. And he beats Will Ospreay. What? I was like, what? Fun match, but Ricochet got a win over Will. Will's been beaten a lot lately. You had that top guy, now he's just being beaten left and right. By a guy that got toilet paper thrown at him. But we have a great MJF and Adam Cole segment. MJF digging deep, saying yeah, you got a cavity, and I know your dentist is not seeing you no more. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Wink, wink. I was like, damn. But this was fun, of course, ends in a fight. But overall, when it comes to World's End, I'm going for MJF. Adam Cole is just, I don't know, he's gotten real stale to me. And MJF, I'm holding a little bit of hope because I love my MJF. Even though they got a little stale with him. Lexi's with Chris. Then we get Penelope versus Chris. Chris gets the win. Who cares about Penelope Ford anymore? She's been gone for so long. Well, I was like, well, we are not doing anything with her. Most of this division, but Chris is going to take on Mercedes Monday one more time at World's End. This is part 2 for the TBS Championship, and I'm just like, Chris Statlander, I hope you whoop that ass, and I hope you get that championship back this Saturday. Jericho with the Costco guys, and Anthony comes, I don't know. Why? Who is these Costco guys, anyway? I don't have a Costco in Flagstaff. I don't know if there's Costco's here in Phoenix. This is where I'm at right now for Christmas. And Merry Christmas, everybody. I have all that good stuff. I hope you get the presents you want. I've been getting some really cool gift cards, so I'm like, wrestling action figure hunting, baby. So I don't know. I don't get the Costco guys. I really don't. Then we get Lexi with the Tayam Perazzo. Best part about this was Toni Storm. I'm hoping Toni Storm will really add a lot of entertainment, and she has little clips out there that are just amazing. She's like, I'm new to AEW. She's kind of brainwashed. I was like, I don't know why, but I'm really digging. Dan Garcia versus Shelton. Dan Garcia beat Shelton. And Bobby, of course, attacks, and here comes Mark, and here comes Swerve, and I'm just like, man, the Hurt Syndicate was such a badass idea. Because I was like, the Hurt Business was something that I really wish Vince didn't throw away. And now that they're here, it's kind of a joke. Yeah. Daniel Garcia beat Shelton Benjamin, who's built like a fucking brick house. Okay. And then Swerve is going after Bobby, even though he already lost to Bobby. Blue League, but it sets up Mark versus Beast. Mark Briscoe getting the win. I think he's going to win this whole thing. I just got a feeling. But we also have Kyle Fletcher, who's racking up those points. Also, too, have we ever established, does Okada lose the championship? Is that a thing? Does Okada lose that championship if he loses enough points? Or, that's the whole point of this, right? They're building towards that title. But Okada has the title currently. So whoever wins takes the title off Okada? Mariah promo. And here comes Thunder. Gold League, Darby versus Claudio. I was like, Claudio getting the win. Makes sense. Ricochet watching. Claudio beats up Darby. Here comes Will. This is how we end the show. And I'm going to say this. Collision was good wrestling. They had good wrestling on here. My favorite match of the night was Darby and Claudio. No, I take that back. Will and Ricochet was a great match. Despite the toilet paper. Great wrestling. Just no structure of storytelling here. Like, no structure. But overall, I got to say, I was more entertained here than Rampage. So I'm going to give this a 3 out of 5. December 21st, 2024. Christmas Collision. You know, and there we go. Now let's talk about Raw. Okay? A very meh Raw. Like, December 23rd, 2024, Joe and Wade on commentary. We started with Drew. Spicy. Get Sammy. Spicy. They set it up. They're going to have a match tonight in the main event. But, of course, Drew starts attacking. And then here comes Jey Uso. Yeet. And we started off hot. Then we go into the Intercontinental Tournament with Io versus Albo Fire versus Natalya. And, of course, PCO go to Adam. They're like, well, we should be in this match. They're like, no, I'm putting Io Sky in. And I was like, damn. But Io gets the win. And I was like, you know what? That's what I'm going for. That or Dakota Kai. Either or. I want one of those two to get that championship. The Judgment backstage, the Judgment Day, and it is a little bit of tension between Liv and Finn. You know, doing those playground shenanigans of like, can you tell Finn? Can you tell Liv? You know, and they're like, what? Well, Carlito's like, what's going on? So fun stuff there. Jay and Sammy backstage. Dom's going to go face Damian. A lot of this was pre-taped, so Jay and Sammy are backstage, and Sammy tells Jay, like, hey, I got this, but thank you. You know, oos, yeet, yeet. Chad versus Tozawa. Chad gets the win. You know, Alpha Academy's out there. American Made's out there. Otis gets in Chad's face, and we get Chad and Otis next week, which I was very surprised because we do set up some matches for next week, and I was like, oh, usually that last Raw of the year is a best of show. I'll take it. Unless they pre-taped it and it's going to be like a best of show mixed with those matches. But we'll see. The New Day. You know, this Raw was more entertaining than I thought. Dom comes up and he's like, hey, I don't like Big E. They're like, yeah, well, you understand now. He's like, but I ain't that evil. I walked out on the New Day and I was just like, dude. Woo! But we have Dirty Dom versus Damian Priest. It ends in a DQ. Why? Because JD's out there dressed as Santa Claus, which is great. Carlito. Then here comes Finn. Then here comes the War Raiders. And it ends with Damian Priest and War Raiders standing tall. But JD as Santa. He even had a little fat belly as Santa, which was really great. Really, really good stuff here. I had a lot of fun with this. But yeah. I think even at their mid, I'm having fun. Jackie's with Seth. You know, he's obsessed. He doesn't like Punk, but there's going to be a big match when he gets his hands on Punk this January 6th. It's going to be crazy. The Miz versus Dexter Lumis ends in a DQ. I was kind of surprised. 2 matches ending in DQs. Back to back. Okay. But here comes AOP. AOP was there. Cross. Wyatt 6. No Uncle Howdy, though. What's up with that? No Uncle Howdy? Another friend asked me, do you feel like they dropped the ball on the Wyatt 6? Yes and no. They still get big pops. They still get reactions. But they had one of the craziest, best debuts on Monday Night Raw. And it's kind of like, yeah, what do we do with them now? You know, they murdered people. They murdered people. They murdered Chad for a second. And it was cool. And it's like, what? You know, this is the problem that I had with Bray. R.I.P. Bray, nothing but love and respect. I thought The Fiend was a cool thing, but I was like, how does it play out on paper? You know, how do you play it out on paper to make it, like, really stick? And it was just like that silly Hell in a Cell match with him and Seth Rollins, and it ended in a DQ or something like that. And, you know, and The Fiend no selling. I was like, I get it, he's a monster, he's a beast, but they did that with Karrion Kross, and that was not, like, it was nothing that I was like, this isn't appealing. Like, I get it, he's a big, bad SOB, but or a big bad monster. But the no selling constantly, and it's just, I don't know, it takes you out of disbelief. And I feel like the Wyatt Six, they have something there, and I hope they don't lose that magic with that crowd, and they can still do something really freaking cool. Do I think the Final Testament and the Wyatt Six should have been in the War Games match? Yes. But 3 War Game matches in one night, a bit much. We could have War Games set for another time. Or a Hell in a Cell. Why not? Let the Final Testament and Wyatt Six take it out. A big match like that in a Hell in a Cell. Something. We shall see, though. You know what match I want them to bring back? Do you remember that triple cage match? Not like the one they had in Ready to Rumble. But it was like on the side stage. I think it was a War Games. Like, that was the concept. You had to go from the top. And you had to escape all the way to the bottom. Or hell, that would be cool if they brought back the Ready to Rumble match. I know they only did it once. Did they do it twice? No, did they only do it once? I think they only did it once. I could be wrong. Fact check me. New Day, though, comes out, and they're like, we don't understand, y'all. We've been here for so long. Booed like crazy. New Day sucks. Then Kofi's mama, he's like, my mama's here, y'all. Even Mama Kofi. She's like, no. What you did to Big E. She walks out on Kofi. It's just like, damn. Then we get the New Day backstage with Rey Mysterio before our main event. And Rey's like, you know what? You're right. I should have been a locker room leader. And the New Day talks a little bit more crap. Rey says, you're on your own. And the New Day's like, what? Oh, you know what? Screw y'all then. Main event time, baby. Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn. Not their best match, but this was fun. But of course, Drew gets the win. Beat down. Here comes Jay. Here comes the Bloodline. And Drew leads the Bloodline to pick on the bones and feed on the carcasses. And they beat down Sami and Jay. Bloodline standing tall. I'm like, okay, who's coming out? Nobody. We end it with Solo on top. And you're Jacob Fatu. I love you, Solo. So that was Raw. 4, after reliving the card here for a second, reading it down. 4 out of 5. Not my favorite Raw. Match of the night. I gotta say, oh my gosh. Io, Alba, and Natalya was fun. That was a fun match. Drew and Sami were second to that because that wasn't their best match. It wasn't their best match. But it was fun for what it was until, of course, here comes Drew beats down, and here comes the Bloodline. We end with the Bloodline. But that is Raw, December 23rd, 2024. Joe and Wade on commentary, Punk and Seth next week. We got Raw, SmackDown this upcoming week. And we got 2 weeks left in 2024. I have my Goodbye 2024 podcast ready to go here soon. Just got to make sure I mix it up and get it going. But I wanted to get this podcast out right now because I wanted to talk some pro wrestling, And I promise y'all, 2025, I'm going to get back on a better schedule. Ever since I stopped doing these shows like every single day, I kind of lost my way, But I want to say, don't worry. K&B is going to get back on track. So like and subscribe. Share with your grandma. Share the bum down at Walmart. I am K&B, the Sexy Ninja. Tell me, what was your favorite show of the week? And my favorite show, out of SmackDown, Impact, Rampage, Collision, and Raw, for this weekend, I will say Raw is the winner. I'm interested to see what's going to happen on Dynamite. And then, of course, Impact this week. They got a pay-per-view they're building to. I believe Genesis is what it's called. We got New Year's Evil, NXT tonight. So a lot of stuff. I believe there's not going to be a Collision this Saturday because we have World's End. Last Rampage to see what they do with it. And then we move on. All right, y'all. That's it. That's all. And remember that the New World Podcast is for life, brother.
Ho, 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 ho. New York City.